We continue with our series of selections from the HaChaim on Parsas HaShavua, and this series is dedicated for zchus, for לפואה שלמה, for לאריאלה, רינה, bas Esther, בתושח Yisrael tekefu miyad. So the pasuk opens up, Vayeira love HaShem, b'leinei Mamre, appeared to him, did Hashem, in the plains of Mamre, Vu Yosef Pesach and he's sitting by the opening of the tent, by the heat of the day. Vayeira, he sees that three people are standing. Okay, so the way we read the pasuk makes the HaChaim's questions obvious. Appeared to him, did Hashem. I translate the pasuk most literally. It should say Vayeira Hashem Elav or Vayeira Hashem El Avram, which is what it says by most prophecies. And Hashem appeared to Avram, which is probably how anyone would translate this pasuk, but that's not literally what the pasuk says. It says appeared to him, did Hashem. Why do you mention Avram Avinu before Hashem? And which is also it's first proper to mention Hashem first, A. But B, that's the way it's generally conventionally spelled throughout Tanakh. It's the way it's spelled out. And Hashem appeared. Vayomer Hashem, Vayeira Hashem. So why is it that appeared to him, did Hashem? That's the first question that really should bother anyone who's a careful reader. But then what's the next question? It's also very obvious. So he's just sitting in front. That's Hashem appeared to him in Elonei Mamre, and he sees people coming. And Hashem appeared to him and said what? And said what? There's no nevuah being articulated. So it's a revelation with no nevuah being articulated. So these are the very straightforward questions that he wants to deal with. And he has multiple pshatim. We're going to speak about two. So Chazal say that Hashem, Rashi brings it, that Hashem came to do Bikkur Cholim. All right, to visit the sick. All right, the mitzvah of Bikkur Cholim, Hashem himself does it. How did Chazal know that? What tipped them off that we're talking about Bikkur Cholim over here? So, says the HaChaim, it's actually the simplest meaning of the pasuk, right? Appeared to him, did Hashem, meaning Hashem is appearing for his sake. That's why it was for the sake of Avram. So Vayeira love Hashem, appeared to him, meaning for his sake, it is that Hashem is appearing, right? And no nevuah is being said. So there's, Avram Avinu is mentioned first to show it is for the sake of Avram Avinu that Hashem is appearing. And it's not for the purpose of saying nevuah. No nevuah is being said. So that's obvious. So why the revelation? Bikkur Cholim. So it comes out that to say that Hashem came to Vakar is not some far-fetched drasha. It's a drush. It's the most simple shot in pasuk, right? To make sense of why Avram is mentioned, meaning it's mentioned first. Vayeira, I love Hashem, appeared there. Hashem, meaning for the sake of Avram, it's Hashem that is appearing, and that's the point. It is for the sake that Hashem is appearing. Period. It's Bikkur Cholim. That's his first shot. So now he says another pshat that's a bit deeper, but it's a fundamental concept that we should deal with. That this is there's a lot in the midrashim that this revelation is after bris milah, and there's a lot of lashonos in midrashim that even though Avram Avinu was a prophet even before when he's one, he's 99 years old now, and he had been a prophet. Some say already since the age of 70. Some hold that Bris ben Absarim was right at the age of 70, even before he left Haran, at the age of 75. But but minimally since the age of 75, right? He's a navi. He's getting directives from God, to leave Eretz Canaan. He's getting Bris ben Absarim, but this is different. Chazal says in a few places this is different because this is after Bris Milah. Okay, there's a whole different level of revelation. Now, is there a way to, as we're sum up, this categorical difference, this new level of relationship to the Shekhinah, right? Or relationship to divinity. that shifted as a result of Bris Milah, that's on a whole nother level, even though he'd been receiving prophecy for decades. So says the HaChaim, yes, the famous saying that's it's throughout Chazal, ha'avos hein hamerkava. Now, the avos are the divine chariot. We know there's the concept of the divine chariot in heaven, right? But the real Merkava, God's real chariot, right, that he rides on, as it were, and we'll explain that in a second, are the avos. So avos hein hamerkava, right? So what does it mean? So for our purposes, for purposes of this discussion, Merkava, Rechev, vehicle, right? The concept that Hashem has a Merkava is that he, in the words, it's in the Rambam and the Mar Nevuchim, but others say it also, is that he is Roche, or that he's Rochev Shemaim even. He's riding, he's driving a vehicle, means he runs the world. He runs the world. He didn't outsource the administration of the world. He is running the world. And of course, not just running the world on a day-to-day basis, to keep it going, but also with a destiny, right? The world is headed to a destiny, right? That's what it means that there's a Merkava, right? That Hashem has a Merkava. He's running, or he's driving the world, and administering it, right, day to day. But deeper in that, he's also driving it towards a destiny. Ha'avos hein ha-merkava is therefore means, right, that that what really makes the world worthy of existence and what's actually influencing the world, on the ground, the vehicle of Hashem to really change the world, keep the world deserving to exist, but also move the world towards his destiny, right, is the avos, and the Jewish people, by extension, the avos, are our pillars, and we're, an extension of that, right? The three avos put divinity on earth, which make the world worthy of God's attention and worthy of being sustained. But even more importantly, in the concept of rechev, that there's a destiny moving towards Mashiach, moving towards Tchias HaMesim, moving the world on its destiny, where the world's being driven to. The avos are the Merkava. The avos are the ones that, through them come the Jewish people, and who get a Matan Torah and get a Beis HaMikdash. That all drives destiny, right? And it's the Jewish mission. It's a Jewish mission, right? That so we are God's vehicle on earth. That's called Hashem is riding the world, as in administering it and guiding it. What causes that to go into full actuality, right, are the avos, right? The avos, and the avos are the pillars of the Merkava, and the Merkava per se is the Jewish people that come from the avos, that the avos set up, that are built on the avos. That's the Merkava. That's what's driving destiny, right? So now, before Bris Milah, right, there's as great as the avos were, but there were other tzaddikim before the avos, like Shem ben Noach, like Noach, like Mesushelach, like Chanoch, and they were not called the Merkava. They're righteous people, and this HaKadosh from afar, administers the world, right? And the world, is seemingly not going anywhere fast. And there's an amazing shift with the avos, which goes into full actuality with the emergence of the Jewish nation that the avos construct, right? Of divinity revealed on earth and destiny really getting going, right? And that's why the first 2,000 years of world history are called Alpayim Tohu, right? The world of formless existence, the world's going anywhere spiritually. Right? And then the Alpayim Torah starts with Avram Avinu, reaches its climax in full actuality with Matan Torah 400 years later. But it really gets started with the avos, the game of destiny. The world's going, divinity is revealed, and that also is causing the world to evolve and move to its destiny of getting to Mashiach, Tchias HaMesim, Olam Haba. Right? And of course, to make Avram Avinu categorically different than all the tzaddikim that were before him, right? That now divinity could rest upon him, right? And he will be Hashem's vehicle, right? To bring Shechina into the world, and as a result, also to drive destiny. Right? That happens after Bris Milah, right? Beforehand, the divinity didn't have a physical base worthy of it, right? That's what Bris Milah changed. That's what put Avram Avinu in a whole different category, right? And the Avos Hein HaMerkava. Now they're the real chariot of Hashem, right? To make that the world actually deserves to exist, to be administered, but more than that, to be driven to its destiny. So it says very good. This is right after Bris Milah. Vayeira elav Hashem. No prophecy said, just Vayeira elav Hashem. Divinity now rests on Avram Avinu. For Vayeira elav, Hashem is appearing upon him, right? He is becoming, the Merkava, right? God's chariot in the world, right? Which is the Jewish mission, right? To drive the world to its destiny, right? Of Achris Hayamim. We are that vehicle, and it starts with Avram Avinu. It starts with here, Vayeira elav. Hashem just rests upon him, right? And no prophecy. It's just a mitzias that divinity rests on the others, and as a result, v'shachanti b'socham, divinity rests on Jewish people, right? And that makes the Merkava, that makes the world, deserve to be administered, worthy to exist, but more importantly, the world is going somewhere. It's being driven. Right, it's a chariot that's going towards Achris Hayamim, which is, by the way, also where anti-Semitism comes from. Yeah, and you can kind of understand what is brought down. That Ravina was a little bit reticent about Bris Milah. It's going to separate him from the rest of humanity. Bris Milah does separate us from the rest of humanity. That it makes us Hashem's Merkava, and it was, And the Goyim sense it, right? It's because we're the Merkava, divinity rests upon us, right? The others, made it worthy that it should rest on the whole Jewish populace that comes out from them, right? The Goyim sense that we're bringing a different world order. We're driving the world to a new world order, and their whole existence is in the old world order that, is facilitated by the existence of evil. That's what facilitates their existence. That's why there's anti-Semitism. You don't do anything to annoy them, nothing, they still hate you. Why? They can't help it themselves. They sense that we are a threat to their way of life because we are the Merkava that's driving the world to a different world order that's not a world order that is Gentile friendly, if being a Gentile means to be anti-HaKadosh Baruch Hu and anti-Torah. Right, and that's where anti-Semitism comes from, and that's what here. This is the pivotal shift that's being alluded to. Vayeira elav Hashem, just upon him is Hashem. He now became the Merkava, and it's just a mitzias whether Hashem is speaking to him or not, right? And it's a mitzias of a shachanti b'socham whether Hashem is sending us nevuas or not. The Shechina divinity rests upon us as we are Hashem's chariot in the world. Hashem is riding upon us, and we're the ones that make the world worthy to exist, but more importantly, right, not just worthy to exist as is, but, we bring the divinity in the world, so as the world is being driven to its destiny of Achris Hayamim. This is all these words of Torah should be L'Refuas, Ariel, Rína, Bas, Esther, Refuah, Shlema, Tekam Yam, Betושח, Chol Yisrael.